I'd love to say we're going live, folks, because the Kent alert. Kent Emergency Network transmission. It's early in the morning. It must be colder. It's just tit out there. It is freaking cold. I mean, it's got to be like 10 degrees or 11 degrees after being 46 in the daytime and being kind of damp. We've got two issues to cover that are urgent. The number one issue is President Trump safe? Okay? Now, there's got to be somebody out there who's connected to somebody else out there who can get this up the chain of command. Why am I concerned about President Trump? Right now, one man has more power in this country than any other human being has ever had in this entire country's history. Even Henry Kissinger didn't have as many hats and didn't have as much power as our current Secretary of State does. Marco Rubio got another hat recently. He had both of the positions that Kissinger had. Kissinger was the only Secretary of State that had all of that power. And he called Nixon on the carpet and fired his ass after they set him up. Why did they set him up? Several reasons. One was Nixon was going to return power to the states, and they couldn't have that. They had to keep it centralized. So they took his ass out. They set him up at Watergate. That's just my opinion. And he also was really worried about the Jews. He knew how dangerous they were because he knew they had killed his president. And not only that, he knew that he put together one of the firing teams that killed his president, John F. Kennedy. Yeah, Richard Nixon was vice president under Eisenhower, and he put together a shooting team that trained in the highlands of the mountains of Mexico. And they came out of Miami, went across the country, and they left one person behind. And she said she didn't answer the call because she didn't have a good feeling about it. Female shooter. She's on YouTube. You can go look up her video, and she'll tell you. But she called up her superior, Frank Sturgis, and said, "You should have been there. We killed the president." That's what she said. So I'm worried right now because here we have a president who's unfortunately given too much power to Marco Rubio, or whatever the fuck his name is. I don't trust Marco, bubble bath boy. I mean, we had another Ruby that killed Oswald, and his name was Rubenstein. How about Rubio? Is that Rubenstein too? I don't know. I don't care. You tell me. That's all I can tell you. Now, it was bad enough when he wore both of the hats and had all that power that Henry Kissinger had. Henry Kissinger was the guy that brought over the German scientist in Operation Paperclip. He only had the rank of a fucking corporal. And he did all that shit. He was a powerful man as a corporal. Yeah, he was. Now, there's a new hat on Marco Rubio's head. He's got some other power now. He's got more power than any man has ever held in the history of this nation. It's scaring me. Scaring other people. Talk to a brother on the phone. Shit, yeah, we're seeing this shit. We're going, what the fuck is going on? So that's all I'm going to say about that. So you get that alert out if you want to defend your nation, because he's the only man standing between you and the other bastards. And of course, you don't realize that. No, you don't realize that because of all the psychological warfare. I've been subjected to it as well. And my God, Yahweh, is the God of the storm. And you need to understand, the storm is here. And the shits that's happening with the weather right now. I was an Army brat, stationed at Fort Leavenworth with my father. 10th grade, had to do ROTC. Had a girlfriend. Did some stuff that Probably shouldn't have done back then. But my dad told me at the War College, there was one officer that came up with how the Russians could invade America and beat us. That's what his thesis was. He wrote a book on it. It was a wintertime invasion through Alaska. You got that right? Wintertime. What is it right now? Is it summer in Alaska? Oh, hell no. My buddy calls me up, the Ski King champion. I used to follow him. I didn't know who was stupider, him for the bullshit he pulled up in the air and the stuff he could do on skis, or me for trying to follow it and do it. I spent more time on my back looking up at the blue sky than I did sailing through the air. We used to fly off Eagle Rock at Mount Alyeska. They don't even want to hear about that shit today, believe me. They got upset when I told them the stories about that, but you know, it was special circumstances, special time, and my ass hit the damn snow, and my legs brought them back up every time we went off that thing. We flew about 200 feet. I don't know. I'd just take it a guess, you know. They will not allow you to ski anywhere near that rock today. And we didn't have powder that much anyway. Frank tells me, you know what the temperature is in Fairbanks right now? I says, no. It's 20. He said, oh, what did he tell me? It's 22 degrees. And their low is going to be 22 below zero. 22 above, 22 below. He says, guess what the temperature is at the North Slope? It's the same thing. It's 20 degrees above zero on the North Slope. That place up there, that's a desert because it gets so little rainfall, so little precipitation. And he says the low is going to be minus 22 below zero. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And the weather's all fucked up across the country right now. The people in Arizona are getting ready to get hit by this storm. Yeah, they've been getting hit. So it's all the way over there. It's going to go across Texas. They're talking about ice across Texas. And they're talking about the storm lingering and how much ice can accumulate on those telephone wires. And you know, we all know how good Texas, with that big fucking ego of theirs, a big piece of shit they are, full of themselves. We know how well they handle their power grid. It's not good. People are going to die. And that storm is headed over this way. And of course, 46 degrees yesterday, and I don't know what it is out there right now, but that is a bitter cold. I know what cold is, man. You know? I mean, Alaska, we know what cold is. And we know how the temperature shifts, but something's going on. And you better pray to God that we come out on top. So our president is at risk. The whole country is at risk from a possible invasion from Russia through Alaska, right down to the continent. You think I'm bullshitting? No, I'm not. And then on top of that, we have this crap going on with Greenland. And I made a video and I joked about, let's take Iceland too, because that's the tribe of Benjamin. They got the most beautiful women in the world in Iceland, and they don't have enough men. My God, if I was a young man, that's where I'd go get a bride at. Hanging out in all those active volcanoes and all that stuff they have going on over there. It's beautiful. No, I've never been there. But you read about the tribe of Benjamin in the Bible. And you got to remember that all of our judges came from the tribe of Dan, actually. That's another one that's involved. Denmark, the tribe of Dan, is fucking up right now. And in the future, there's no gate for the tribe of Dan. We know why now. We're going to find out why. And in case you're wondering, we have no choice. If we want to exist as a nation at all, we have to take Greenland. I'm behind the president on that 100%. However, I'm really trying to remember and trying to remind people about fighting the Russians and how fucking stupid that would be. You need to look up the Battle of Stalingrad or Volgograd. For almost 3 years, they held the German war machine at bay. How did they do that? Their men sacrificed themselves. They literally went into the German lines, physically into their lines, thereby nullifying the big, heavy, overbuilt diesel tanks that the Germans had, and also nullifying the use of their big guns, the 88s. What do they have, 110s or something like that? They had something bigger too. And by hunkering in there and doing street-to-street city fighting for just short of 3 fucking years. It's like, I don't know how many, 3 million casualties or something? And the people were starving. I mean, they didn't get food in there or anything in there, have water or heat or anything for almost 3 years. Just short of it. Go look it up, it's there. There's another reason they lost the war is because one of the German generals, his Italian wife was a communist, and she talked her husband into sabotaging the supply lines because the Germans planned it out to everything, every dot, every tittle, every whatever, the T, all that. They planned it all out, and there was no way they could lose. But the wrong clothes got sent to the wrong place. Summer gear instead of winter gear instead of summer gear. Calibers for the other guys ended up at the other place, and calibers ended up there. They just didn't have stuff going on. At the end of World War II, that German general, who was a quartermaster apparently, and his wife, the Italian mistress of his, who was a communist, at the end of World War II, they went to Moscow. They were treated like royalty, and they lived up their lives in lavish paradise after that for the sacrifices they made to save Mother Russia. The Tsars saved our nation a few times. They saved us during our Revolutionary War, too, by the way. I can't remember the details on that, but the details in the Civil War are real recent. They saved us by lending us the fleet. The Tsar stationed his fleet, San Francisco and New York, in both harbors off each coast, thereby defending our nation. And as a result, we made a deal for Alaska. Now, Alaska's the peacemaker, baby. That's Alaska's destiny. We've got a big, big oil well up there. Lindsey Williams told us about it. He did such wonderful work up there in the North Slope that they invited him to their board meetings. And what was Lindsey Williams' comment? He didn't like them because they were pure Satanists. Go figure it out, folks. I've given you enough information. I'm over the 13-minute mark here. I'm loading this up immediately, and you need to share this and get it out there because the nation is in the balance right now. Right now. So go out and do the right thing. Riders of the storm, into this house we're born. Man, they tried to warn us. We didn't listen to them. Yahweh bless.